It was supposed to be another regular night on late-night television, where celebrities share a few laughs and promote their latest projects. But this episode of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert turned into something far more memorably and controversial. Denzel Washington, the legendary actor known for his powerful performances and commanding presence, was the guest of the evening. From the moment he walked onto the stage, the energy was different. The audience applauded with great enthusiasm, but there was a noticeable tension between Colbert and Washington as they exchanged greetings. At first, viewers thought it might be an inside joke or simply an awkward moment. But soon, that tension escalated into an unexpected and fiery exchange that left both the audience and producers stunned. The conversation started off smoothly, with Colbert asking Denzel about his latest film, his approach to acting, and his thoughts on the current state of Hollywood. Denzel answered with his typical grace and insight, sharing thoughtful anecdotes and offering praise for young talent. However, when Colbert shifted the topic to more personal territory, mentioning a recent controversial statement Denzel had made during a different interview, things took a sharp turn. Denzel immediately challenged Colbert's framing of the question, stating, "That's not what I said, and if you're going to quote me right." The audience fell silent. Colbert, attempting to keep the tone light, replied with a joke that Denzel clearly didn't appreciate. His expression hardened, and he leaned forward, stating firmly, "You don't get to twist my words to fit your narrative." From that point on, the mood shifted entirely. Colbert, trying to recover, said, "Come on, Denzel, it's all in good fun. That's what we do here." But Denzel wasn't having it. "No," he said, "you don't get to make light of serious issues, especially when it's about integrity." The audience reacted with a mix of gasps and nervous laughter. The tension was thick, and even Colbert's usual quick wit wasn't enough to diffuse it. Denzel's tone was calm but firm, his voice carrying the authority that has made him such a powerful presence both on and off screen. He made it clear that he wouldn't tolerate being misrepresented, even on a comedy show. Colbert, now visibly flustered, tried to pivot the conversation again, but Denzel wasn't going to let it go. The clash grew more heated when Colbert brought up Hollywood's current climate regarding politics and social activism. "Don't you think," Colbert asked, "that sometimes actors get too caught up in preaching to the public instead of just entertaining?" That was the spark that ignited the fire. Denzel raised his eyebrows and said, "Is that what you think I do, preach?" The audience held its breath. Colbert responded, "I think some people feel that way, and I'm just asking." Denzel shot back, "Well, maybe some people should start listening instead of dismissing the message because of the messenger." His words were sharp, deliberate, and packed with meaning. It was clear he felt deeply about the topic and wasn't going to let it be trivialized. As the back and forth continued, it became evident that this was no longer a typical late-night interview. Denzel, frustrated but composed, questioned the role of media and entertainment in shaping public perception. He challenged Colbert directly, saying, "You have a platform every night. Millions of people watch you. What you say matters. So why try to mock or downplay what artists say when they speak on real issues?" Colbert, caught between maintaining his show's tone and responding seriously, tried to keep smiling, but the discomfort showed. Producers backstage began communicating frantically, unsure whether to cut to commercial or let the conversation continue. Denzel's passion and insistence on being taken seriously were undeniable, and it began to shift the mood of the studio. The crowd, once lively, was now watching silently, hanging on every word. Denzel criticized the way celebrity opinions are often dismissed unless they fit a convenient narrative. "We are not just entertainers," he said. "We are human beings with experiences, beliefs, and responsibilities." Colbert nodded slowly, perhaps beginning to understand where the actor was coming from. But then he quipped, "Sure, but sometimes the stage is for performance, not preaching," trying again to steer the conversation back to humor. Denzel, however, didn't smile. "Sometimes the stage is the only place people will listen," he responded. The tension returned. The audience didn't laugh this time. The truth in Denzel's words struck a chord. Things escalated when Colbert attempted to end the segment early. "Well, this has been a deep conversation," he said, glancing off stage. But Denzel wasn't ready to let the moment pass. "You invited me here," he said. "You don't get to cut me off when things get real." The audience murmured in surprise. Colbert, trying to maintain control, said, "We're on a schedule." Denzel retorted, "Maybe the schedule needs to make room for truth." At this point, producers made the call to cut to commercial. The show went to a break, and the audience sat in stunned silence, unsure what had just happened. The live taping was momentarily paused, and conversations backstage became frantic. When the show returned from commercial, Denzel was no longer in his seat. Colbert, now alone at the desk, looked directly into the camera and said, "Sometimes conversations take a turn." "We thank Mr. Washington for his time tonight." There was no explanation, no elaboration, just a cold acknowledgement that the night hadn't gone as planned. Speculation immediately began to swirl online. Social media lit up with questions. Did Denzel storm off? Was he asked to leave? Why did the interview end so abruptly? Clips of the exchange were posted within minutes, and the internet did what it always does: to analyzed every expression, every word, every gesture. Sources close to the show later confirmed that Denzel had indeed been asked to leave after refusing to follow the show's outline and timing. He reportedly told producers, "If I'm going to speak, I'm going to speak fully. Don't invite me if you only want sound bites." The statement resonated with many fans, who praised him for standing his ground. Others felt he overreacted and should have respected the show's format. The debate became a trending topic. News outlets picked up the story, each offering a slightly different angle. Some called it a meltdown, while others labeled it a powerful stand for truth. Regardless of interpretation, the moment had captured the public's attention. Stephen Colbert addressed the incident briefly the following night, stating, "Things got a little more real than expected last night. That happens. We move forward." He did not apologize, nor did he criticize Denzel. It was a measured response, perhaps an attempt to avoid further conflict. But Denzel, for his part, didn't remain silent. In a statement released through his publicist, he said, "I've always spoken my truth, and I will not apologize for that. If we can't have honest conversations in public spaces, then what are we doing?" His words sparked further debate, with commentators and fans alike weighing in on what had transpired. What made the clash so compelling was the unexpected nature of it. Audiences are used to seeing celebrities laugh, joke, and promote, but rarely do they see a moment where a guest refuses to play by the rules. Denzel's insistence on being heard, on challenging the host, and on refusing to let his words be twisted, turned a routine interview into a cultural flashpoint. People began rewatching other interviews of Denzel's, noting that he's always been direct and thoughtful. This wasn't an isolated memento, it was part of a pattern where he demands respect and truth. Some said it was refreshing, while others felt it was inappropriate for the setting. Behind the scenes, insiders say this could change how interviews are conducted on Colbert's show. There are rumors of tighter guest guidelines and more pre-approved questions moving forward. Some producers reportedly felt blindsided by how far the conversation went, while others respected Denzel for bringing substance to the stage. Late-night TV, often criticized for being too soft, suddenly had a moment that mattered. It made people talk, reflect, and debate. That alone is powerful. Whether you agree with how Denzel handled it or not, there's no denying the impact. It reminded everyone that real moments can still happen on live TV. In the days that followed, the incident remained a topic of discussion. Memes were made, think pieces were written, and clips continued to circulate. Some fellow celebrities came to Denzel's defense, praising him for standing his ground. Others offered support to Colbert, noting how hard it is to manage live conversations with strong personalities. But the most common sentiment was surprise. No one expected a confrontation of this scale on such a mainstream platform. It was a reminder that authenticity, though sometimes uncomfortable, leaves a lasting impression, and for that reason alone, the moment will be remembered. As time moves on, the clash between Denzel Washington and Stephen Colbert will likely be studied as a turning point where the boundaries of entertainment and truth-telling collided. It opened a conversation about how we expect celebrities to behave, how media handles difficult topics, and whether we still value raw, unscripted honesty. One thing is certain: Denzel Washington has never been one to stay silent when something matters. And in that studio, on that stage, he made it clear that respect, truth, and integrity still have a place here, even if it means getting kicked off the show. Because sometimes, being uncomfortable is exactly what makes us listen. Whether this moment leads to long-term changes in late-night interviews or is simply remembered as a viral moment, it added depth to the cultural conversation. It reminded viewers that celebrity interviews don't have to be shallow. They can be meaningful. They can challenge. They can provoke thought. And sometimes, when two powerful voices collide, the result is not chaos, but clarity. In that clarity, audiences are given a rare glimpse of authenticity. That's what Denzel brought to the stage. Whether people cheered or criticized, they were engaged. And in a media landscape often filled with noise, that kind of impact is rare. Denzel Washington didn't just make headlines that night, he made a statement.